Hey, listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but some of y'all are waiting until you're not scared anymore. But what if I told you you're supposed to be scared? You think I wasn't scared when I took chances on myself? I was terrified. But what I learned is that you can't keep asking for a different life while making the same uncomfortable decisions. At some point, you gotta jump. You gotta bet on you. And yeah, you might not have everything figured out, but you gotta do it scared. You gotta do it unsure. But just don't stay stuck because you're afraid of what could happen. Because the biggest what if isn't if you fail. It's what if I actually win?
You are supposed to lose it all just to get it right back. That's what we call prestige. Your whole childhood, all you wanted to do was get to the next prestige, to feel that chase, to feel that grind, to feel that success, just so you could do it all over again. Life has beaten you down time and time and time again, but every single time you've gotten up. What makes this time any different? What, you forgot how to throw a punch? What, you forgot how to take some hits? This is about to be the biggest comeback of your entire life. No matter how bad things are and no matter how bad things get, you will promise me that you will never lose hope. Get up, dust yourself off, and prepare for a new day. Get ready to kick some ass, bro. I believe in you, I love you, and I will see your ass at the top.
Be the person who still tries. After failure, after whatever happens, when momentum is gone and outcomes turn quiet, it's whoever can keep moving regardless. Be the person who still tries. Persistence wins.
Unless you're dead, then there is a way out. It does not matter how bad it has gotten. I don't care about your circumstances. You know that there's a way out. You know that there's a better choice. You know that you can start with what you have. What you have is enough. You have your mind, you have your body, and you have your soul. And you can do incredible things with just those three things.
Until death, all defeat is psychological. As long as you're alive, as long as you can breathe, you have an opportunity to turn things around. Endless opportunities, as I might say. And that's what people tend to forget. One bad year doesn't end your story. One bad day doesn't define your chapter. And one failure or setback doesn't define your life. And where and who you are right now does not erase the potential that you have within your body and soul. That's why it is truly impossible to defeat someone who will never give up. You fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Going to be the one person that truly gives you permission to overhaul your life tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is the day where you start a 6-month lock-in, a 6-month lockdown, and you start to uproot everything about your life that you know is holding you back. And a lot of that might just be your psyche. Some of that may be your friend. It may be your significant other. It may be the state that you live in. It may be the fact that you're just fucking out of shape. Tomorrow is the day where you change all of that so that in 6 months, on Christmas of 2026, you are unrecognizable.
You know what the best advice I ever gotten? Came in 2 words. You can't. And you know what my response was? 2 words. Watch me.
Don't wait 10 years. Don't wait 10 minutes. Don't even wait 10 seconds. The time to start is now.
The more you commit yourself to becoming the best person you can be, the more you like yourself and respect yourself, the more energy you have, the bigger goals you set for yourself, the more you persist. When you invest in yourself and you read and learn and upgrade your skills, you're telling yourself, wow, I am a person with a great future, and it's up to me to maximize my potential. And your self-esteem goes up, your self-respect goes up, your sense of personal pride goes up.
Your growth frightens those with no plans of changing. You've changed, we heard. That's what they said when we started to grow. We now have a clearer vision. We have a smaller circle. We're going, we're growing, we're hunting.
When you are putting limitations to yourself, you always stay small and never get into the glimpse of what this complete universe and life has for a potential for you to discover. But this is dependent upon what is your mindset.
Anything that is great, you have to fight for. And your calling is great. It is greater than you can even possibly fathom right now. And so, with that, the path is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. So the more we can detach ourselves from the desire for it to be easy and accept our struggle and the difficulty and the adversity and the failure and the dead ends and sleepless nights as a responsibility to fulfill our greater purpose, wakes up the fighting spirit within you.
We all live in this world where our brains are keeping us in this box. Outside that box is a world that's endless of opportunity. But we are afraid to go outside that box because in that box is comfortable. Outside that box, man, God gives you a shovel and says, man, start digging. That's not fun. But when you dig your own path to all kind of stuff that's unknown.
If you're alone in this world right now, it's a superpower if you decide to use it right. Because you actually have the opportunity to know yourself, while everyone else in this world will spend their entire lives trying to find themselves in someone else. I know how painful it is. I know the misunderstanding is hell. But you would only be more misunderstood if you never took the time to know yourself. Anything worth overcoming puts that pit in your stomach. So you have to understand the pain and realize that sometimes being alone is a blessing.
My favorite Chinese proverb is, everything must be hard before it can be easy. I think it's amazing what you can endure when you have no choice. Because at the end of the day, life is hard, but believing it should be easy makes it even harder.
See, I've come to believe that the secret to success is just not giving up. That life is constantly testing you. That there are going to be days where you don't do the reps. There are going to be weeks where you don't do the reps. There might even be months that you don't do the reps. That's okay. And the reps are the boring, tedious actions that you take every day. And that's how you achieve a goal. What defines your success is not the days where you do it. I actually think it's the days where you come back after you didn't do it. So the day that was really hard at work, or the week that you were really sick and you couldn't do the reps every day, the small tedious stuff, you couldn't get out for your walk, you couldn't sit down and write. It's the day that you return that defines success, because it means you didn't quit. Like if it is day 37, you have not eaten the way you said you would, you have spent a ridiculous amount of money even though your goal is to get out of debt, and you see that little note where you wrote down your goal, it's okay, it's still there. It's the days where you come back after you didn't do it. That defines success.
How do you build trust with someone? You prove time and time again that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And what makes you think building trust with yourself is any different? Because if you're the kind of person that fears your future self, the solution is right in front of you. Spend months and years building the evidence that when you say you're going to do something, you follow through. It is not complicated. It's just difficult. If you constantly flake on your own expectations, it's no wonder your relationship with you is nothing but uncertainty. But when you can look back on undeniable proof that you are the person you claim to be, counting on yourself is not so difficult.
One of the key things in attracting the things we want into our life is to be able to feel as if we have them before we possess them. What we really want in our life, our real dreams, our real ambitions, are feelings. They're not things. One of the things that happens when we feel like we possess something, we begin to act in accordance with that feeling. And as a consequence of that action, those things begin to chase you. So it's not some manifestation thing. When we feel a certain way, we act a certain way. And when we don't, we don't. Spend a little bit more time on giving yourself the gift, or doing the work, frankly, of what would it feel like, and beginning to feel as if you possess the goal. And I also just think the gift of giving yourself the emotions you want will create more health in your body, more vitality, more energy, more optimism, more belief, more confidence. Feel it this week, and then you'll possess it.
Odds against there being another person like you are more than 50 billion to 1. In the entire history of humanity, there will never be two people like you. Never be two people with the same face, There would be two people with the same, even blood composition, exactly. There would be two people with the same outlook, the same talents, abilities, capacities. There would be two people just like you. And that every single person are born with the capacity to do something remarkable with their lives. And the starting point of personal greatness is when you say to yourself, what a wonderful thing am I going to do with my life? Why am I here? I have this one life, this precious, precious life, and as you know, this life is not a rehearsal for something else. This is the real one. You say to yourself, what am I going to do with my life? Why am I here? What are my unique talents and abilities? Look back into your life and ask yourself, what is it that you've done in the past that you most enjoy? What is it that you've done in the past that comes easy to you, but which may be difficult to others? What are the things that are indicators that this is where you should be focusing all your talents and abilities? Whatever it is, find it, and then commit yourself to becoming excellent at it.
It says the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen.
You will feel 1,000,000 miles away from your dreams, and then you'll blink, and suddenly, you'll be living them.
I just want you to think for a second. Like, regardless of any struggles that you're facing right now, just think about how good it feels once you actually pull this off. Just think about that. Money's no longer an issue. You're doing something every day that is fulfilling. You're surrounded by people that you love. You're able to travel and do the things that you want to do when you want to do them. You are no longer being controlled by external things. You decide how you want to live your life. You live on your own terms, and you live a life full of fulfillment and purpose and love. All the things that you long for right now. Let me tell you something. That day is in your future, and it's not as far as you might think. You're almost there, my friend, I promise you. All you have to do is continue to show up.
Don't be ashamed of your effort. Midwits hate earnestness and sincere conviction because they can't stand being reminded of the thing they're capable of or resist. Actually trying. People will try to put the same limitations on you that they put on themselves. Don't mistake their insecurities for your ceiling.
I think the first thing a person needs is they need a dream. You gotta have a dream. I don't know how people survive in life with any kind of peace or happiness or fulfillment without having a dream. A dream needs to be something that there is a possibility of fulfilling. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. You know, the saying is that if your dreams don't scare you to death, they're not big enough. Your dream needs to be bigger than you are right now.
There's a specific person that you've got to get out of your life right now. It's the person that wants to remind you of who you were. It's the person who wants to remind you of how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That used to person's dead. Anybody who wants to resurrect that person cannot be in your life. There is nothing more important than getting people out of your life that want to pretend you're the person you were yesterday. They want to act like you're the person you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're growing, you're advancing. You need to be focused on you right now, and anybody that wants to bring you back, anybody that wants to pretend you are the same person that they knew 1, 2, 6, 7 years ago, get them the hell out of your life.
Trajectory. Focus on your trajectory. You can't keep living in this all or nothing mentality where you have to do the perfect set of perfect things in the perfect order, just like that guy you follow on Instagram does. That guy's full-time job is personal development. He gets paid to sit in the cold plunge. You don't. You are going to make mistakes. you are going to mess up. So if you have that all or nothing mentality, when it's not all, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be the guy that gets one flat tire and then gets out of his car and slashes the other 3 simply because he doesn't have 4 perfectly inflated tires. Makes no sense. The measuring stick is not, am I perfect? The measuring stick is, did I get closer to who I want to be, or did I get further away? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Focus on path over perfection.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea.
What if problems were always gifts? What if every single problem really was a gift in your life? What if every problem you ever had was life happening for you, not to you? What if everything in our lives is guided? What if everything in our life was divine timing? Everything, even the pain.
What are you gonna do when no one's watching? Are you gonna operate to your standard, or are you gonna cut corners? I can tell you this, dude. I try very fucking hard to operate in my standard all the time, 24 hours a day, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when you actually gain more of the discipline and strength that you need to uphold those standards. I think every single fucking human should have a set of core values and a mission statement and a vision for their own lives. And most people don't. Most people just go along with the flow. They swing into someone else's vision and they stay there for a little bit, and they swing into someone else's for a little bit. And then they get to be older in life and they're like, why the fuck has nothing worked out for me? Well, the reason nothing's worked out for you is because you don't live what you say you're about. You don't have a plan for yourself. You don't have a mission statement for yourself. You've tried to cut the corners when no one's watching. Bro, that you'll lose that way. That's just it.
It's always harder, takes longer, and costs more than you think it will. It makes sense because if it did it, then everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. And so if it's hard, that's amazing because it will make you that much harder once you conquer it. And it will also make it harder for anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps. And so the higher up the mountain you climb, the thinner the air gets, and the rarer the climber or explorer must be in order to get there.
If you can survive temporary pain, on the other side of temporary pain, you will meet another version of you. Every time I wanted to quit, I didn't make a decision to not quit the rest of my life. I made a decision not to quit for one more day. One more day, just don't quit. One more day, hang up.
People who win are disciplined about winning. They don't just casually take a look at this. They don't just casually try something. They jump in with both feet because they absolutely intend to win at it. And that's going to require discipline and consistency on your part. As you start to study, you're going to learn things. You're going to learn the skills that you need. That's going to require discipline on your part. All of which, by the way, you can learn any of these skills. You can learn anything, but you're going to have to be disciplined.
There's this revered master who everybody wants to study under, and it's almost impossible to get to him. And so he's interviewing candidates. And the aspiring samurai comes to him and says, how long will it take me to be a master? And he says, 10 years. And so then the young samurai, eager to kind of prove himself, he's like, well, what if I work twice as hard and I work day and night to become a master? How long will it take then? And so the master sits back and looks at him and says, 20 years. The young samurai is like, wait, what? How can it take twice as long if I'm working harder? The master replies, if you have one eye fixed on your destination, then you only have one eye left to find your way.
But I think what's truly important is the ability to detach yourself from the outcome. It is one of the most important things that I have adopted in my life. Set the goal, know where you want to go, know where you're aiming, and then let it go. It's possible, in fact, it's probable and likely, it might take you longer to get there. And so what if it does? If it does, you're still making forward progress every single day.
It's really important that we understand that better is not always visible. You can be getting better and it not be public. Because very often, private victories will precede public accomplishments.
All success is preceded by single-minded concentration on a single task for a long period of time before it's accomplished. There are no successful people who have not developed the ability to concentrate without diversion or distraction on the one thing.
The bar for excellence has never been so low. Most of your competition quits after the first sign of difficulty because they've never known what hard feels like. If it's hard for you, it's hard for everyone. And most people avoid hard things, which is why you can beat most people.
Brother, a lazy man is a man who prays for things he's not willing to sweat for.
These are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life. Just be careful who you change into.
And every day, the same answer came back to me. Do you want to be on your deathbed, knowing that you could, but you didn't?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Most of us prepared for years, 10, 20 years for one night where preparation met opportunity. That's winning. And having the same mentality, the same energy, the same passion and love for what you're doing years later. That's what it takes.
That's commitment. Most people want an instant. They don't want results. If you want results, it's going to take hard work for years.
You have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace. On all those bad days, and all those days you don't want to do shit, you have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own trainer, your own everything. Whatever gets you motivated, it's got to be here at the tip of your brain at all times. Because in those dark moments, you got to pull it out.
It's a journey of a lifetime. Like life is a journey. Just achievers, high achievers, elite people, like competitors, right? They look at life as a process, as evolution, as a journey. That's how they view things. When they encounter it, they don't just look at the moment as the moment. They look at it as a part of something that can make them even greater. That's how they process problems, opposition, adversity. When things happen, it's not like it's an isolated incident. It's more so the thought process of, this is something, once I get on the other side of it, I have another tool in my arsenal to make me a better person, right? It's just a perspective in how you view life, right? It's a journey. It's a process.
Remember when you were 12 years old? Remember who you thought you were going to be? There was no limit to what was possible. You believed you could be anything. Then slowly the adults in your life started planting seeds of doubt, started telling you to be realistic, started telling you to play it safe, you gotta go to college, you gotta get a job, you gotta do what they did. Now you find yourself waking up, picking up your phone, scrolling, going to work, scrolling, coming home, scrolling. Same routine, same conversations, same problems. You may look back and think your 12-year-old self was naive and didn't understand how the world works, but they were right. Whoever your 12-year-old self wanted to be, that's who you're supposed to be. That version of you had a clearer vision of who you're supposed to be than you do right now. Because your vision for your life has been poisoned with the limitations, the justifications, and the excuses other people planted in your head. The fact is, you're not gonna feel right until you ruthlessly chase what sets your soul on fire.
You just do the work and you get there. The human mind, the human body, the human psyche is so pliable. You can literally become anyone and anything. Multiply that over time and experience, and don't quit even when it sucks.
I want you to, first of all, not tire, not quit, not give up, right? Because every time you stop, every time you start, every time you stop, every time you start, you're messing up your momentum. I want you to have the stamina, figure out what your pace is. Don't operate at anybody else's pace. Find your pace, and you stay at their pace.
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures.
Every day, sunrise, sun goes down. So that means there is a up, there is a down. Since we are born, we have inhaled 50% of our times, we have exhaled 50% of our times. Meaning always 50-50. Always the exchange between left and right, up and down, bright and dark, in and out, success and failure.
Our greatest challenge is that we don't know how great we really are, because we still battle with the conversations that other people have had about you. You have to begin to have a short-term memory when it comes to all the negative. Remember that your life is not defined by what others said about you, but it's about what you say about yourself. You got to begin to have a conversation that it starts internally and then works its way out to the rest of the world.
I want you to realize this truth. Perspective is everything in life. And the beautiful thing about perspective is in your control. Nobody else can control your perspective. But when your perspective is your power, you know that things that happen to you, what happens for you? You know the things that are supposed to break you, actually things are gonna build you. You know the failures that happen in your life, actually the failure is just feedback to grow something better in your life.
You think that everything the mind tells you, I need to follow. That means freedom. No, for us it's the other way around. To learn and not follow what the mind tells you. This is the first step towards freedom.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. You gotta tell your brain where you wanna go and how you wanna go and how you wanna get there. You gotta control it. If not, it's over.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are.
That's the challenge.
Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming all the things that's not us so we can become the people that we're really destined to become.
There's no way you lose when you go after a dream. You don't. It always leads to something better. Always. The responsible thing to do is to listen to your heart. It wasn't hard to work at the shitty job because I was always thinking about the exciting job I was going to do afterwards. And every night that I just went up on stage, and if it just went moderately okay, I couldn't believe it. Have you ever had that level of excitement doing any other job? That's what it's like when you go after a dream job. So, nothing is worse than not going after it.
And so many of us, we're afraid of the silence. We're afraid to be alone. We're afraid because we know the voice in our head when we're alone is one that doesn't lift us up but brings us down. And it might seem dark, and it will be cold, and you'll be lonely. But I promise, as you work through that cold and dark place, you will find who you are. You will find your voice. You'll understand who you are when there's no support around you, because I hate to break it to you, that's going to happen on this path to growth and this path to success.
Thing that wakes you up and tells you, I've got greatness in me, I've got the ability to overcome, I've got a champion inside of me, I've got something that is unique about me that the world has never seen before. But you got to begin that conversation internally. Because until you believe it, no one else will. But the moment you make it your will to overcome every obstacle, overcome every negative, to overcome everyone that has ever told you you would fail, you have to have those haters. You need them. So you can prove them wrong by being strong. But the strength that you begin to display is not just on the outside. It begins internally.
Time is the currency we're playing with in every moment of our lives. It's the center point of our influence. I talk about the roulette table of my life. It's the frame I think through, where we wake up in the morning with these 24 chips. If you spend 8 hours sleeping, you wake up with 16 chips left. And how you place those chips on this roulette table that sits in front of us, just before the wheel spins every day, determines all of our outcomes in our lives.
There are many things in this world that we all wish weren't true. There are many things that we want to be that just aren't. The game that you're playing is human psychology. There is no greater control. There is no greater control than control over oneself. Every day that you're working to build something, whether it's a business, whether you're trying to be the greatest parent of all time, it doesn't matter. If you fail to understand that the name of the game is changing yourself, acquiring skills, identifying the gap between who you are today and the person you want to become, and accepting that you can do anything you set your mind to without limitation. So now how you spend that time, what skills you begin to acquire in order to execute against that future vision you have of yourself, that is everything. But you're going to have to be willing to suffer along the way.
That means people will become a magnet to what energy you put out. But you've got to begin to let that flow from your life, from your belief that I am more than a conqueror, I am more than a victim, I am more than whatever I've gone through. Hell, I am more than anyone ever imagined, including myself, because I didn't imagine I'd be this, but I began to paint a picture and be able to frame it with my work day in and day out. Work this step by step. It's how you conquer a mile. You don't get there overnight. It's not all through a sprint. Sometimes it's a marathon. But even marathons might take a year, might take 2 years, but you're on your way as long as you don't quit.
Right? Believe in what you're doing. Sometimes all you got to do is stay the course and outlast whatever the opposition and the adversity may be. Right? When it comes to whatever you consider to be success. Whatever success means to you, properly define it, but always look at it in terms of, do I love what I do? Do I know what I'm doing? If opposition and adversity happens, will I still believe in what I'm doing? Love what you're doing. Know what you're doing. But above all, believe in what you're doing, man.
I want you to imagine that there's a power flowing into your consciousness. This power flows to and through us, and it never stops. Now, when the power flows into our consciousness, we could call it thought power if you choose. You can think anything you want. You can think anything you want. No one can cause you to think something you don't want to think. What we want to do is learn how to control the flow of this energy. We want to learn how to control the flow of thought energy and let it flow freely to and through us, improving everything with which it connects. You see, we're really in charge of our results. The results that we get in our life can be altered because on a conscious level, you have a choice. You see those two symbols, one's negative, one's positive. There is the power flowing in. You can think anything you want. You can choose to think of what you don't want, or you can choose to think of what you do want. You can look at what's wrong with life, or you can look at what's right with it. You do have a choice. That power, you can build it into anything you choose.
There's going to be so many hours where you will be alone. You'll feel like there's no one there to support you. And it may not be because you've been abandoned, but because those people have to tend to their own lives. Learning to be self-reliant, learning to stand in front of the fire, to face the crowd head on by yourself is what will rally the troops. That's what brings the reinforcement. So often we say, I'll go if you go. I'll stay if you stay. Be the one that goes. Be the one that steps forward into the fire, unafraid, knowing that it's not because you're going to get burned, but it's because it's going to burn off the old you. Burn off that old you and let the new you shine. You'll find that you're fireproof. You'll find that you're unstoppable. You want to know how strong you are? Let's go test it.
You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful. Then we lose somehow our life sucks. Life is beautiful. Life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them. We loved them. We cared about them. They cared about us. That's the purpose of life, just to enjoy what we had, what we journeyed through it.
Apparently, the stress and the worries and the fear, it arises somewhere. And that somewhere is individually always inside one cell. But nevertheless, we try to fix this issue. We try to look for the solution. Yeah, not inside of you, we try to find it out there.
Sometimes people are too close to you to see your greatness. You're too familiar. So what a lot of us do, we go to our spouse, we go to our friends, we go to all these people that are close to us, and we try to show our gifts and our talents, and they normalize your greatness. I believe this is true. I believe God will place strangers in your life to take you to higher places. So don't be surprised if your support system doesn't come from familiar faces. Don't be surprised if your support system doesn't come from blood, doesn't come from family, doesn't come from the friends you have history with. But they're too close to you, they're too familiar with you. Anything we get familiar with, we get desensitized to. So the mistake that a lot of us make is we go to what's closest to us in proximity when you need to just give it to the world. We need to just give it to the world and let the world validate your vision.
I need you to begin to believe in yourself in such a way that nothing can shake it. So what if you take a loss? So what if you've lost something for a moment? That loss is temporary. That L that you took is a lesson. But once you get that lesson, God help those that tried to teach it to you. Because once you become you, fully engaged, fully believing, nothing will stop you.
Hey, bro, can you just promise me one thing, bro? Promise me that for the next 6 months, you'll give it your all. No averageness, no laziness, no excuses, just pure effort. Because truth be told, that's all that you're missing. It's just effort. If you just hone in, block out the noise, get off the ground, get off your phone, tell your weaknesses no, and tell your strengths yes, I promise you by the end of the year, you'll be in a totally different situation. But I can't want it more than you. You gotta make that choice. Let's see what you do, bro.
Fucker, if a person walked a day in your fucking shoes, they would fall the fuck apart. Huh. Do you know the strength it even takes to take one step forward as you? And how easily you discount the weight that your life carries. People love to judge from the sidelines, but if they were put in the game, they would strike out on their first try. And I think that because I carry that pain, it makes me weak. That pain does not make me weak. It is a sign that I am strong enough to carry it.
You are doing just fine. I promise you are. And I know it may feel like life's kicking your butt right now. And it very well may be. I mean, let's be honest. It's not easy. But it doesn't change the fact that you're still here.
Start living like a savage who deserves success, abundance, happiness, security, prosperity, legacy, meaning, fulfillment, significance, purpose.
What you find out is most people don't really want it. Most people are scared to go all in. Most people are scared to sacrifice themselves.
And then I realized that, man, there is no shame to admit that you're afraid. And when I made peace with that, it changes everything in my life. Whether you're a fighter, an entrepreneur, or whatever, it's with the preparation. The more well you prepare, more you will build up your confidence.
You're still kicking. And with all the other countless battles you've had to fight just to get to this point here, it says a lot about you. You should give yourself some credit for that. And if no one's told you in a while, I'm proud of you. I admire your strength. And I mean that with everything in me, my friend.
I
I think the first thing a person needs is they need a dream. You gotta have a dream. I don't know how people survive in life with any kind of peace or happiness or fulfillment without having a dream. A dream needs to be something that there is a possibility of fulfilling. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. You know, the saying is that if your dreams don't scare you to death, they're not big enough. Your dream needs to be bigger than you are right now.
There's a specific person that you've got to get out of your life right now. It's the person that wants to remind you of who you were. It's the person who wants to remind you of how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That used to person's dead. Anybody who wants to resurrect that person cannot be in your life. There is nothing more important than getting people out of your life. They want to pretend you're the person you were yesterday. They want to act like you're the person you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're growing, you're advancing. You need to be focused on you right now, and anybody that wants to bring you back, anybody that wants to pretend you are the same person that they knew 1, 2, 6, 7 years ago, get them the hell out of your life. Trajectory. Focus on your trajectory. You can't keep living in this all or nothing mentality where you have to do the perfect set of perfect things in the perfect order, just like that guy you follow on Instagram does. That guy's full-time job is personal development. He gets paid to sit in the cold plunge. You don't. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up. So if you have that all or nothing mentality, when it's not all, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be the guy that gets one flat tire and then gets out of his car and slashes the other 3 simply because he doesn't have 4 perfectly inflated tires. It makes no sense. The measuring stick is not, am I perfect? The measuring stick is, did I get closer to who I want to be, or did I get further away? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Focus on path over perfection.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea.
What if problems were always gifts? What if every single problem really was a gift in your life? What if every problem you ever had was life happening for you, not to you? What if everything in our lives was guided? What if everything in our life was divine timing? Everything, even the pain.
What are you gonna do when no one's watching? Are you gonna operate to your standard, or are you gonna cut corners? I can tell you this, dude. I try very fucking hard to operate in my standard all the time, 24 hours a day, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when you actually gain more of the discipline and strength that you need to uphold those standards. I think every single fucking human should have a set of core values and a mission statement and a vision for their own lives. And most people don't. Most people just go along with the flow. They swing into someone else's vision and they stay there for a little bit, and they swing into someone else's for a little bit. And then they get to be older in life and they're like, why the f is nothing worked out for me? Well, the reason nothing's worked out for you is because you don't live what you say you're about. You don't have a plan for yourself. You don't have a mission statement for yourself. You try to cut the corners when no one's watching. Bro, you'll lose that. That's just it.
It's always harder, takes longer, and costs more than you think it will. It makes sense because if it did it, then everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. And so if it's hard, that's amazing because it will make you that much harder once you conquer it. And it will also make it harder for anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps. And so the higher up the mountain you climb, the thinner the air gets, and the rarer the climber or explorer must be in order to get there.
If you can survive temporary pain, on the other side of temporary pain, you will meet another version of you. Every time I wanted to quit, I didn't make a decision to not quit the rest of my life. I made a decision not to quit for one more day. One more day, just don't quit. One more day, hang up.
People who win are disciplined about winning. They don't just casually take a look at this. They don't just casually try something. They jump in with both feet because they absolutely intend to win at it. And that's gonna require discipline and consistency on your part. As you start to study, you're gonna learn things. You're gonna learn the skills that you need. That's gonna require discipline on your part. All of which, by the way, you can learn any of these skills. You can learn anything, but you're gonna have to be disciplined.
There's this revered master who everybody wants to study under, and it's almost impossible to get to him. And so he's interviewing candidates. And the aspiring samurai comes to him and says, "How long will it take me to be a master?" And he says, 10 years. And so then the young samurai, eager to kind of prove himself, he's like, well, what if I work twice as hard and I work day and night to become a master? How long will it take then? And so the master sits back and looks at him and says, 20 years. The young samurai is like, wait, what? How can it take twice as long if I'm working harder? The master replies, if you have one eye fixed on your destination, then you only have one eye left to find your way.
But I think what's truly important is the ability to detach yourself from the outcome. It is one of the most important things that I have adopted in my life. Set the goal, know where you want to go, know where you're aiming, and then let it go. It's possible, in fact, it's probable and likely, it might take you longer to get there. And so what if it does? If it does, you're still making forward progress every single day.
It's really important that we understand that better is not always visible. You can be getting better and it not be public, because very often private victories will precede public accomplishments.
Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask, and that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act, and you've got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to crash and burn. You know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
You need discipline. You need personal discipline. There's times when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done to get this. But you gotta say, feelings has nothing to do with it. This is my dream. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the things that I don't feel like doing. I'm gonna do the things I don't wanna do. I'm gonna do the things that don't come easy to me, that do not come natural to me. I'm gonna get up and do it. You can't live your life on feelings.
Loneliness. It's a feeling we all experience, though it's rarely something we talk about. When it creeps in, it can feel overwhelming, suffocating even, as though you've been cast aside, forgotten, or left to face the world alone. But here's a thought. What if loneliness wasn't something to run from? What if instead it held the keys to a deeper understanding of yourself? Loneliness is often misunderstood. It's painted as emptiness, as a void that needs to be filled with people, noise, or distractions. In reality, loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. And in a world that's always pulling you in a million directions, solitude is a rare and powerful thing. We live in a culture that glorifies being busy, being surrounded, being plugged in. We equate a full social calendar or an endless stream of notifications with a full life. And when that quiet moment comes, when the noise fades and the distractions stop, loneliness feels like failure, as if being alone somehow makes you incomplete. That's the misconception. Loneliness isn't about what's missing outside of you. It's about what you have yet to find within yourself. When everything else is stripped away, when the spotlight dims and the crowd disperses, you're left with the one person who will always be with you, yourself. And that's where the real work begins. There's a reason so many of life's breakthroughs happen in the quiet. When you're alone, you're forced to face the parts of yourself that are often buried under the noise, the insecurities you try to ignore, the dreams you've been too afraid to pursue, the questions you've been too distracted to answer. Solitude gives you the space to reflect, to feel, to grow. It's in those quiet moments that you start to see yourself more clearly. Not the version of you that you present to the world, but the real you. The one with doubts and fears and flaws, but also strength and resilience and untapped potential. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when you're surrounded by constant validation or external noise. It happens when you're willing to sit with yourself, to embrace the discomfort of being alone, and to use it as a chance to understand who you are and what you want. Silence has a way of bringing clarity, of stripping away the distractions and revealing what truly matters. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts without interference. You can tune into the voice inside you, the one that gets drowned out in the chaos of daily life. What is that voice telling you? What dreams have you put on hold? What truths have you been avoiding? Loneliness doesn't just leave you with questions. It gives you the space to find answers. And those answers, they're the foundation for the life you're meant to create. Instead of seeing loneliness as a problem to solve, try seeing it as a tool to use. Use it to reconnect with yourself.
The ability to be comfortable in your own company is a rare and powerful thing. It means you're not afraid of the quiet, of the stillness, of the moments when it's just you and your thoughts. It means you've built a foundation within yourself that doesn't crumble when the world around you shifts. When you learn to value your own company, loneliness stops feeling like a burden. It becomes a choice, a time to recharge, to reflect, to reconnect. It becomes a reminder that you are enough, exactly as you are. Here's the reality. The time you spend alone is never wasted. It's where the most important growth happens. It's where you learn what you stand for, what you value, and what kind of life you want to build. Loneliness can be painful, yes, but it can also be transformative. It can teach you resilience. It can help you find clarity. It can show you that your strength doesn't come from the people around you. It comes from within. If you're feeling lonely right now, don't run from it. Sit with it. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to reflect, to reconnect with the person you're becoming. This is your time to build something extraordinary, not outside of you, but within you. Loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the space where you rediscover yourself. And in that space, you'll find everything you've been looking for.
We know what to do. We know what to do. Every one of us. It sucks, but you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes.
You're going to have to understand that you will stumble. You will get knocked down. You will deal with adversity. You will get your face marred and scarred, and things will not go the way you want. There will be pushback. There will be conflict. That's life.
It's a lot of things that you want to do, but you don't have the nerve to do. There's a lot of places that you want to go, but you don't have the nerve to go. There's a lot of opportunities that you want to take advantage of, but you don't have the nerve to go get it. You are somebody, and stop letting people tell you who you are.
Humans never genuinely pursue happiness, they only pursue relief from uncertainty. Happiness emerges momentarily as a byproduct whenever uncertainty briefly disappears. If you feel like you can't predict the future, you will default to fear, worry, and rumination. Your mindscape will eclipse reality's landscape. Worrying about the thing that you can't predict usually involves a nightmare fantasy, which is way worse than anything that could happen in reality. However, this imagined nightmare briefly collapses the chaos of the world into certainty. And this is how much humans hate not knowing what the future will hold. We would rather imagine a catastrophe than deal with something unpredictable.
Why not you? You have the ability to change your life and take action and change the entire course of your life to do whatever you want. Don't save it for somebody else to do. Don't save your dreams for somebody else to do. Because why not you? Give me one good reason that it wouldn't be you. They're trapped in their own mind.
There is nobody that you look up to that became that person without a tremendous amount of hardship. There's nobody that you look up to that became a successful, inspiration to you without going through a lot of pain. When you think of the stories and the people that inspire you, the reason they inspire you is because what they went through to get where they are, not because of just where they are.
I wanted to hit obstacles that most people up, including myself, but I didn't waver. I didn't fear. I didn't run away. I just stayed and marinated in the fucking fear, in the suffering.
And the most important goal that you can develop, the most important quality or characteristic that you can develop for happiness and success is to be unstoppable yourself, is to think of yourself as unstoppable. And you know how you become unstoppable? It's by the basic psychological, behavioral development principle of simply saying it to yourself. Because whatever you say to yourself and believe over and over again, you start to believe as a reality. You start to walk it and talk it and act it. So what you say is, I am unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I don't care what it is. I'm unstoppable. Nothing will stop me.
There's all these people that have all this potential to be successful, to contribute, to create, to build, that we don't even know what they were supposed to do on this earth because they were too afraid to go.
Never consider the possibility of failure. Remember that in order to be successful, you have to fail a lot.
There's a guy that, once he found it out, it's want. The nourishing of that want was fear and failure. It's all he knew. So of course he kept trying. When have you ever tried something over 1,000 times and still continue the course?
Know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way, failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that?
Work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. If the why is powerful, the how is easy.
The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. So I slowly started changing that internal dialogue in my head. And that was where the power came from. The power came from, no one's helping me, no one's coming back to save me, no one's coming back to pull me to the finish line. This is on you. So I saw a lot of power in the fact that if I change this around, I did this. I changed this around.
Secret to success, there's a system to success. And no matter what organization you become a part of, the system works if you work it. If you don't work it, it won't work. But it works if you work it. And that's one four-letter word that most people don't like. They're not willing to work. Go in there hoping it doesn't happen. Why? Because they don't want to do the work. It's an aversion to most people's spirit.
Is that, we are more than what we're demonstrating, that we've been sold this lie, that people are taught through school, but the truth is everyone can do this too, and so much more applied towards creativity and focus and flow and problem solving and thinking and really overcoming the biggest challenges of their life and maybe even the world. The challenge is we were taught a lie. We were taught a lie that somehow our intelligence, our potential, our learning, our memory somehow is fixed, or creativity is fixed, or thinking is fixed like our shoe size. This is about transcending. This is about ending the trance that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not this genius, and telling the truth. And the truth is we're faster and we're smarter than we think. And not just to be able to rote memorize things, but be able to really solve significant challenges. And maybe that these challenges that we're going through are the lessons that we need to to learn the most. And then some people who learn those lessons feel compelled to be able to share that voice with other people. So it's not just one candle, you know, we just can set things ablaze.
You gotta rise up. You gotta make your dreams a reality and live a damn masterpiece. You know this. Now, here's the thing. Couple things. You gotta make a decision. Listen to me. You gotta make a decision. What's the decision? What's the thing you came here for? Now we're at the moment. The clock is ticking. People say all the time, hey, life is short. Let me tell you something. Life can be long. You bury your dreams, you quit this, life gets long. See, time's relative. 2 minutes of you being with your sweetie, doing whatever you like to do with them, that can go by quick, right? What about the last 2 minutes on a treadmill? Does that not seem like it goes by for like 4 hours, right? So if you're enjoying it, it's short. If it's painful, it's long. Life can be long.
That's when you screw up your intrinsic motivation. What happened, right? When you're not living with passion, purpose, regular access to flow, all of the things that Pursuit of the Art of Possible are about, the tools that I've worked breaking down, when you use them right, the result is Superman. When you use them wrong, or don't use them at all, if you're not using the organism the way the organism was designed to be used, the result is anxiety and depression. And we're in the middle of the largest anxiety and depression kind of epidemic in the history of the world, so it strikes me that there's a correlation here.
Quote that I love, which says, you know who you are when no one's watching. Like what you do when no one's watching, that's who you are. You know when you're alone what you choose. And I think that that really helps you overcome your ego, because when we reflect on ourselves when no one's around, that's when we're truly uncovering who we are.
Are tired of feeling negative. You feel often that your own thoughts are the things that trip you up in life, that you wish that your mind were more positive. And what it means to be human is that your brain and your body want you to survive. Your brain and your body remember situations that scare the daylights out of you. Your brain and your body try to talk you out of anything that makes you feel risky. And your brain, given that it has been trained by situations in the past, and given that you allow it to worry all the time, you have a habit of doing it, if you're not careful and you're not deliberate, your brain will default to scary crap. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means that your brain is thinking something that's broken, and it's time for you to reset your mindset and pull it back.
You're not going to succeed on a large scale until you face the threshold of control. And once you face it, you'll face it again and again, but it'll become an old friend as you'll keep growing. What's the threshold of control? It's where you get to the edge where you feel like you just can't do it. Like, if I put a dot in the middle of life and I go, this is a problem, and if you have a comfort zone that says, it's within the things I know how to deal with, go at it. But if this is the circle of what you can deal with and the problem is way out here, it feels out of control, like I don't know what to do. So what we have to do is we have to learn to take where our comfort zone is and expand it. And the only way that happens, quite frankly, in most cases, is you face a real challenge.
You know, what's going on in the material world is totally, not the point. What matters is, do we have that vision of hope in our mind? Do we see a possible future for us to step into that will make our lives better? And as soon as you take away that vision, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And we despair, essentially. Is how we need to constantly be constructing these dreams and these visions for ourselves, and what happens when they're taken away.
You need to visit it. Like, people hate working out. You're only gonna visit working out maybe an hour a day. 23 other hours of the day, you're not in it. But how you become in shape is you must visit suffering, visit working out 1 hour a day. Visit suffering 1 hour a day. Visit your past failures 1 hour a day. The relationship with it is the answers are in there. They are in there. Within the suffering, go in there, and I call it the live autopsy.
Change things, to transform things, to make things better. When I said responsibility, with great responsibility comes great power. The most important thing to be responsible for is how you feel. And we are sometimes
You know, we're thermometers. We react to the weather, if we're honest, the economy, to politics. We react to how people treat us sometimes. But is there a gap between how someone stimulates us and how we respond? Do we have choice? The difference between a thermometer and a thermostat, though, is a thermometer reacts to the environment. What's the thermostat do, though? Yeah, it regulates, right? It helps manage. It sets a standard or a vision or a goal, and then what happens to the environment? It raises to be able to do that. Is there a difference? And so that's where we're going back to responsibility. When we're talking about being responsible, the ability to be able to respond is how you feel about things, and also how you focus on things. Fear is adaptive. You run from the unknown, run from challenges. So if you're living in survival, there's better chances of surviving if you run from the unknown. And by the way, when you're living in survival at the infinite potentials in the quantum field, you'll select the worst case scenario in your mind, and you'll begin to emotionally prepare yourself for the worst case scenario because you have better chances of surviving.
If you are fascinated, then that's an area where you're going to ask yourself one very simple question. Do I want to become the best in the world at that thing? The most important thing that passion will do for you, which is it's going to pull you through boredom, it's going to pull you through the hard times, and that's why it's really got to be something that you just are prepared to become great at. Because when you're prepared to become great, there's just these insane moments of boredom, repetition, and all of that. And if you have this burgeoning passion coming out of that, that's what's going to give you the energy to get through it.
Most people are waiting for their life to change, feel abundant, feel whole. You know, that's the old model of cause and effect. You know, if you're living with emptiness, you're living with lack, you're living with pain, most people have been conditioned that something out there has to take away this emptiness or feeling inside of them. If you were able to become familiar with gratitude, become familiar with wholeness, become familiar with abundance, to become familiar with freedom, and you're able to generate those chemicals every single day, more than likely you would be walking around feeling like your future has already happened, and you would no longer be looking for it to happen.
If you want to do something extraordinary, you have one job. Leave your fellow humans in awe.
You probably don't think of your life in this manner, but I now invite you to think of your life in this manner. Your entire life has been nothing but an attempt to exert control over some part of your internal or external environment. You do not have control, you never had control, you never will have control. You only have the illusion of control.
The thing that I find most interesting, the thing that I think a lot about is who are we sort of at our core? What are we? Are we changeable? Are we malleable? The whole nature versus nurture thing has really come to define my life. Because it doesn't matter who you are today, it certainly doesn't matter how you were born. The only thing that matters is who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there.
Legacy is planting seeds in a garden that you'll never see. The capacity to strengthen and increase your hunger is the one common denominator amongst the most successful people. Richard Branson's a good friend of mine, and Peter Guber, Steve Wynn, all these guys, they've never lost their hunger. Most people are hungry to achieve a certain amount, make a certain amount of money, and then they get comfortable and relax, or they get a certain level of fitness and then they relax. Hunger is the ultimate driver, because if you're hungry, you can get the strategy, you can get the answer. If you can't model it, you can find it.
I would lay in bed for up to 4 hours a day, every single day, because I couldn't motivate myself to get out of bed. I didn't have a job, and the only thing that would get me out of bed, 15 years before I'm capable of building a billion-dollar company, the only thing that got me out of bed was shame, because I had one failed misunderstanding. I believed that my talent and intelligence were fixed traits. Because what's happening in the mind seems invisible. We can't see it. We don't understand what's happening.
And so as shame was the only thing that would drag me out of bed, I didn't understand that the same thing I believed to be true of my body was true of my mind. What you build your self-esteem around matters.
So what I want you to realize is thoughts are invisible waves. When you turn on TV, it takes invisible waves, and depending on the channel, you're gonna see a love story, or an adventure, or a drama, or a comedy. So what I've tried to do in this Airy Beautiful state is simple. You start to feel the stress, you see it as thoughts going by, and then you focus on something to appreciate, enjoy, or love. Appreciation, love, and joy destroy suffering. You can't be grateful and angry simultaneously. It's possible. You can't be worried and fearful and grateful simultaneously. So I tell people gratitude is one of the emotions to cultivate that'll destroy the suffering.
Whenever you feel negative or unhappy about anything, you say, wait a minute, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for what happened. I can't change the past. So I'm not going to spend a second worrying about the past. I'm going to become so busy working on my future and my goals that I don't have time to think about the past.
Pleasing comes from scarcity and fear, self-loathing and insecurity. If they don't like me, then I'm not enough. Well, you know, any great genius, the great women and men of the world stood alone even if they were an army of one. If you look at the great producers of the planet, they were ridiculed before they were revered. You can change the world or you can be liked by everyone. You don't get to do both.
When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have something that we are supposed to do, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. And when you know that, you can feel it in your guts, and you know that you're deliberately operating below your potential, you've gotten comfortable, you stop expanding, you stop stretching, you stop challenging yourself. Let me share something else with you. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe.
People wonder, well, what's the meaning of life? Like, what's it all about? What justifies the suffering and the misery and all of that? It's like, well, that's what justifies it. It's like you put yourself up against that. You think, okay, with all of this pushing against me, how much can I push back? Could I move the horror an inch back with all the strength that I have at my disposal? Man, and the answer to that is, yeah, you can. It makes you better with regards to yourself, but it also makes the world a better place.
So when it comes to your life, when are you gonna stop saying easier said than done and start saying no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how many people doubt me, no matter how many failures I run into on this journey of success, I'm gonna get it done. That's the mindset that you have to have. Stop thinking of all the reasons why you can't do it and find the one reason why you can, why you have to, why you should. Start taking responsibility over your life. What would your life look like if you took full responsibility over your life? If you have a choice in this life, you can make moves or you can make excuses.
And if you're not careful, you will allow situations in this life to cloud your perspective. And you will allow moments in this life to take away the hopes and the dreams of tomorrow. Failure is not final, it's formative, it's part of the journey. How are you gonna learn if you don't ever fail? No, failure is fuel for your future.
No matter how many people have hurt you, right, the pain might not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. The setback might not be your fault, but the comeback is your responsibility. What happened to you happens to you. It doesn't have to be your whole story. You're literally a choice away from a new beginning. A choice, that's it. And a commitment away from a new life. Accept and change. Accept what's happened and then change your life from it.
What idea are you sitting on? Write your ideas down. And then, once you get that idea, take the lead. Take the lead. See, a lot of people get the ideas and just walk around with it. Take the lead. See, it's out here in the universe. If you don't take the plunge, I guarantee you, somebody else will. Take the plunge. Go into action. And ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised at how things will come together.
When you're an adult, you have to parent yourself. Here's the rub. You're never, ever, ever, ever going to feel like doing the things you need to do in order to have what you want. You're always going to need to push yourself. You're always going to need to parent yourself.
I believe you're happiest not when you're watching TV. You're not happiest when you're playing with your apps. You're not happiest when you're looking for likes. You're not happiest when you're fooling around. You're happiest when you're growing.
You're not your past. You don't have to be your past. You're not the mistakes that you made. Just because you made mistakes doesn't mean you are one. But you have to make that choice to own it.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Your imagination is the evidence of things not seen. You know why they say it's not seen? Because your imagination, you are the only one who can see it. So you know what that means? All that stuff you've ever imagined, it's just been God showing you a preview of a coming attraction He has for you. The problem with your imagination is you tell it to the wrong people.
Confidence is arrogance under control. But this is what you should be careful of. Don't you ever cross that line into arrogance. Because arrogant people stop growing, arrogant people stop developing, because arrogant people think they have arrived. Be as confident as you can be without crossing the line into arrogance.
You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy.
Stay loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you're setting is left. That's commitment. So when it's inconvenient to do so, are you still going to do so? When it gets real, are you still going to stay loyal to what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, I go here. Go to that dark place. I call it the dark room. Where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. You don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent time, real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. And once you find that passion, that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up.
But is a dream killer. That a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of places we would like to go, a lot of things we would like to experience, and we just stop at but. But is an argument for our limitations. And when we argue for our limitations, we get to keep them.
What if the truth is that changing your life is one away? One decision, one meeting, one conversation, one extra phone call, one extra rep in the gym. You start stacking up those one mores. That's the separator. In life, we don't get our goals. We get our standards.
Your biggest enemy is you.
People don't understand it's you against you. The only person that gets in your way is you.
I need you to confront you because you're the one holding you up. I need you to confront you. I need you to look in the mirror and tell you, you are not gonna do me like this no more.
You need an antidote to suffering, and it has to be deep. And no, deep moves you tectonically, and it's not a trivial thing. But that's better than happiness. And maybe if you're lucky, while you're pursuing that and while you're immersed in it, you get to be happy. And you should fall on your knees and be grateful for that when it happens. You know, it's a gift. It really is a gift. But you aim to climb uphill to the highest peak you can possibly envision. And that's better than happiness.
See, but will cause you to procrastinate, but will cause you to hide out behind fear, but will cause you to come up with all type of excuses that you can validate your inaction and not acting on your dream.
And most people fail those 1 seconds. And then that 1 second leads to 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of. And that's where people start to lose it. Because now, I realize that in that 1 second, I go through all that. I know how it's gonna feel, because I failed so many times before. Failure is the ultimate thing, man. I failed so many times before, and that's why I don't look at failure anymore as failure. I look at it as my first, second, third attempts.
There's a power to one more. When you start stacking up those one mores, not only have you put more context out into the universe, but you start believing, I'm doing something most people aren't willing to do. I'm fixing to get something most people aren't gonna get.
The shortcut is a lie. The hack doesn't get you there. And if you want to take the easy road, it won't take you to where you want to be. Stronger, smarter, faster, healthier, better. Free. To reach goals and overcome obstacles and be the best version of you possible will not happen by itself. It will not happen cutting corners, taking shortcuts, or looking for the easy way. There is no easy way.
A good human being, a fulfilled human being, doesn't need to break anyone down. All they do is want to build you up. So anybody you meet that calls you out of your name, that bullies you, that messes you up, that makes you feel not lifted, they are dealing with something deep-rooted.
There's a beautiful piece of Zen wisdom that's been shared for thousands of years. And what it says to us is this, that we don't realize that half the time, the thing that's weighing us down, the thing that's holding us back, is what we're holding on to. What part of your mindset are you going to leave behind today? What part of it are you going to say, you know, I might need to leave that behind. I might need to let go of that. That doesn't serve me anymore.
Yo, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself?
Welcome every human experience. You never know which one is going to turn it all on. Even the bad experiences. Sometimes from the bitterest experience comes the greatest awakening. So let down the barriers, take down the walls. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness. Let life touch you. Don't let it kill you, but let it touch you.
There is no easy way. There is only hard work, late nights, early mornings, practice, rehearsal, repetition, study, sweat, blood, toil, frustration, and discipline. Discipline, the root of all good qualities, the driver of daily execution. The core principle that overcomes laziness and lethargy and excuses. Discipline defeats the infinite excuses that say, not today, not now, I need a rest, I'll do it tomorrow.
Every challenge that you are facing, it belongs to your journey. It is part of your journey.
There's only one thing a friend of mine years ago taught me when I was coming up and I was deciding if I was going to do this, if I was going to pursue this life. And he's an Indian friend of mine. He said, Ab nahi to kab. I think that means if not now, then when. So whatever you want to do, ab nahi to kab.
Most people aren't obsessed with their goals because they don't believe they're worthy of them. It's easy to dream about what you want, but in between where you are and what you want, there's a tremendous amount of stuff you got to change and do. But you do have a responsibility to do the work to change so that you can be the happy, fulfilled person that you were born to be.
If I were to shut down, and give in, I remember the accomplishment of it. So at those times, where you're questioning if you have anything left, no, a day from then, a week from then, a month from then, a year from then, you will never remember discomfort or the pain. You will always remember the pride of the accomplishment. That lives on. That's why pain is temporary. Pride's forever, guys. You give it your all, you get it all, tenfold.
You can't just take that one aspect, like I mentioned about John Bon Jovi, like you just mentioned, right? You can't be Tiger Woods and just take the 15 majors without the painkiller addiction, without the public humiliation, right? You can't. You can't take the 28 Olympic gold medals that Michael Phelps has without the depression and the suicide attempts. You can't take Johnny Walker's World Cup medal without the 10 years of pain that followed that, right? So many of these heroes have paid a huge cost to get where they are, huge cost. And we often just look at the upside and not the downside.
This is definitely going to be an unpopular take, but I think there's no greater privilege than having a sense of personal pressure. The pressure to always want to do a little better by yourself, to be a little harder on yourself when you have to, because you can actually take a lot more than you think or what society deems as healthy. To know how good it feels to be in a working flow state, to know how good it feels to be on one of those extreme discipline kicks, to be on a fucking tear with your workouts, your job, your social confidence, to genuinely know how it feels to live as the best version of yourself. And above all, to have a personal desire to want to chase all that. Because it seems so few are willing to push a little harder, even for the things that they know they want these days. Even if you fall off your wave, even if you fall into slumps like every single person does once in a while, even if it can feel overwhelming at times when you're always trying to figure out the best way to get back on the train, man, some people go their entire lives figuring out that there's even a train to catch. I firmly believe that pressure is what truly evolves and grows your identity. There's never any change if there's never any self-induced call to action. And as scary as it can all feel, do not run away from it. Lean into that calling, because that's the ultimate privilege that's going to guide your purpose in life. Neither love nor terror makes one blind. Indifference makes one blind.
Try the treadmill with no music. See how long you do that. Because you'll be in your head so much and you hear yourself breathing. You ain't gonna do it as long as you usually do it. When you can put the music on and just go, it takes your mind off of it. You can do the work a lot easier. A lot of the talent that you see out there on the highest level will come from circumstances that were such great circumstances.
People don't become successful just by accident. Maybe the guy that found gold in California and started the gold rush, but don't count on that. That's a one in a lifetime kind of a situation. So you got to really have a specific goal. And to me, to have that vision, you have to have a goal. Now, it doesn't have to be that specific goal, but it has to have some goal. This is why I always recommend to people, sit down, take your time, and start thinking about what is your goal.
Suffering creates perseverance. Perseverance creates character. Character creates hope. So if you think about that, when you have to go through any type of suffering, at the end of that suffering, if you exude perseverance, if you flex your perseverance muscle, you will then add layers to your character to then and only then have more hope in life.
In the final analysis, there are two parts of courage. Remember, Winston Churchill once said that courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. Courage is defined as the ability to act and to go forward in the face of uncertainty, is to face the fact that you may not succeed. It's the willingness to take chances and to take risks. The future belongs to the risk takers. The future belongs to people who are willing to take the risks necessary. The second part of courage is persistence. It's the willingness to endure. It's the willingness to hang in there. Once you've started and you have begun, there is a period between when you begin and when you get some result. And in that period, most people break and run. Most people fall apart. They cannot stand not knowing, so they rush back to their comfort zone. But what you have to do is be willing to persist in the face of adversity, even though there is no guarantee of success.
We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. That in fact it may be necessary to encounter defeats, so we can know who the hell we are. What can we overcome? What makes us stumble and fall and somehow miraculously rise and go on? I know that a diamond is the result of extreme pressure. Less time and less pressure and it's just crystal or coal or fossilized leaves or just dirt. But time and pressure will create a diamond.
Stop looking for the perfect morning routine, the perfect calendar app, the perfect to-do list, perfect notebook, the perfect logo, the perfect name. Just start. People trick themselves into thinking that they're getting closer to their goals because they're setting up the perfect plan, they're getting the perfect apps in place, they're doing all these things, but they're not. You just need to start. You just need to post an episode. You just need to send the email. You just need to post the video. Just get started first and then worry about all that other stuff later. All that other stuff that you're worried about doesn't matter at all if you never actually start.
But I'm starting to realize, bro, when you dance to your own rhythm, when you play by your own rules, and you living through your vision, that's a perfect indication you're doing it correctly. Because they literally don't see what you see. They don't see it. They don't see what you see. They don't see as far as you see. And they don't understand why you see what you see. They don't even understand where it's coming from internally. They don't. I didn't get that back then. I just knew I had the desire for more. I knew I had a vision that I couldn't ignore.
And I tell you, it's extremely dangerous in this world today. You can either be externally oriented or internally oriented. One is powerful, the other is incredibly weak, and it will destroy you. It will break you apart. If you're externally oriented, always focused on what people think of you, their expectations of you, what mommy and daddy expect out of you, what your friends think you're going to be able to do, etc., etc. If you're always focused on their opinions, you have no space to develop your own confidence. You're continually bouncing back and forth between the opinions of other people. Whereas if you listen to other people, it'll beat you up and you'll never be able to reach the goals that you want to reach in life. So the answer is to become internally oriented, to know what you want, to know what your goals are, to know what your desires are, to know what makes you unique, and to put your focus on that and not on other people's expectations of you.
Disappointment to me, to win, you gotta lose. To be successful, you gotta have something that's not successful. To be happy, you gotta have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am and understand the benefits and the privileges I have from being who I am.
I need you to understand that you cannot escape from the pain and the void that's within with your vices and your distractions and your escapisms. The only way out is through. You don't have to remain in that trench and can be drug and vice free with simple realignment of your purpose and daily habits that will change your life forever. That starts with realizing that you are worth that. You deserve that life shift. Just go out and get it.
There's a reason why high-performing people don't have lots and lots and lots of people around them. Anything that doesn't contribute, anything that doesn't push you forward, anything that you feel like you're having to carry that doesn't belong, you have to cut it out. You cannot compete at the highest level or even a high level carrying all this that comes from your old life. It's impossible, bro. No drama, no gossip, no fucking losers, no low ambition, no non-urgent people. And if you're gonna win, it's gonna take urgency. It's gonna take urgent action. That's reality. The journey is so hard and so competitive, and there's so many people out here trying to do what it is that you do, that if you don't cut that weight, you legitimately cannot compete at the highest level because everybody else at the higher level is fucking great too.
Here's the second thing, is persistence is self-discipline in action. And self-discipline is the foundation quality of a great personality. Everything we've talked about really depends upon our having the discipline to do it. And self-discipline means the willingness to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And if you can persist, you develop the habit of persistence. As you develop the habit of persistence, pretty soon you get to the point where nothing will stop you and you become unstoppable. In other words, everything we've talked about is that you build your own character. You create yourself in the image that you imagine for yourself. And your goal must be to become absolutely unstoppable in anything you do. Your goal must be to set big dreams and to set goals and to take responsibility and, by gum, to make anything out of your life that you want to make out of, to do anything that you want, because there's no limits. At least there's no limits that you will ever reach or I'll ever reach in our lifetimes.
Life isn't a straight road. Some days it feels like nothing lines up. The timing is off, the answers don't come, and the moments you counted on slip away. But here's the thing, even in the uncertainty, life has a way of still giving you what you need. The mess is where the magic hides, so embrace the twists and lean into the unknown, because it's in the cracks where the light gets through, and that light is all the reminder you need to keep going.
This world has gone soft because almost nobody has a deep-rooted problem that they just sit with. Another beer probably does the trick for the people that don't want to face what's actually going on with them. Another shallow relationship might be just enough to distract from the all-consuming insecurity. You know, I've had some real hard times, whether you believe it or not. I've felt lonely. I've felt purposeless. I've cried. I've hated the world. I've done it all. But I have never once forgotten what's going on with me, and I never will. It's rare to find understanding in that, because if I'm gonna know for certain that someone won't abandon me, I better know that they've never abandoned themselves. And how many of us are really left?
Believe that you can. Visualize everything that you want to achieve in 3 months, in 6 months, next year, and just hold on to that every single step of the way. Hold on to the way that you see yourself just crossing the finish line, graduating school, in a PR in the gym. Just visualize that, because your job is not to avoid the hard parts in life. Your job is to show up.
You're gonna lay in the bed you make. You're not gonna get away with nothing in terms of the energy. That might not catch you for what you're doing, but the energy is always gonna return to you. So when you just living in this cycle of being negative all day and just putting out negativity, and that's the only energy you putting out, it's gonna return to you in a different form than you put it out in. Master your energy. Do your best to master your energy and what you put out, unless that's what you want. You know, because you entitled to whatever you want to create, whatever experience you want to create for yourself. But if you're tired of that, adjust the energy. You know what I mean? As best you can, adjust what you wake up thinking and what you say. And then, lastly, what you do.
Don't stress in the face of adversity. Make adversity something you desire for an opportunity to grow.
It's okay to fall apart, even after you thought you had everything under control. You're not weak. This is healing. You'll go days without thinking about your past, and then there will be days where we'll all come crashing down. Hold space for all of it. Maybe you won't go back to being who you were before everything happened, but I can assure you, you will find your way forward. Hold on until then, one day at a time.
More you're able to let go, farther you're going to proceed. It is essential. The more your willingness and your ability to let go, the more changes are going to come. It's just like this. For new things to come, old things must go.
Remember, it's not what you have, but what you do with what you have that separates winners from losers. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you that counts. In the final analysis, your response to the adversity of life is the real measure of who you are and what you're made of. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said that circumstances do not make the man or woman, they merely reveal him to himself. Everyone eventually goes through periods of great difficulty, their own private hells, their dark nights of the soul. But it is by facing whatever life gives us with courage and determination that we grow more surely toward the stars.
When you're looking for validation on the outside, it's because you lack strong values on the inside. To me, success is very simple. Those closest to me love and respect me the most. That's my definition of success. Let me explain that to you because it's so beautiful. This is success on the inside. This is how I built my success foundation. There's something wrong with any of us if people who don't know us well like us better than those who know us well. Once the inside is right, the outside can expand.
Success is measured very differently, right? You have to understand and figure out what success means to you. But if you are not happy with where you are or where you are going, you may be settling. You may be good, maybe you're average, maybe you think you're great, but if you move into a different environment, go into a different sphere, you're gonna recognize you're not. You're just good. And in this day and age, sorry, good is not enough.
You will not find yourself anywhere apart from within. You must isolate your mind, be alone with your thoughts, breathe, relax, reflect, ask questions, find answers, use your imagination to visualize what you feel. And it is also important to be in the right environment. Make this a habit and you will find yourself. And once you find yourself, you will experience true freedom.
There are only 4 fundamental choices to make a change. You either could stop something, you could start something, you could do less of something, or you could do more of something. That's literally the only things you could do. Because if you did the 5th thing is not do anything, that's insanity, right? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So you want to create a new result. I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm saying it is pretty straightforward and simple.
I believe that when we die, we meet the person we could have been, the one we were capable of, the life we were capable of having. I want you to imagine for a minute that when you die, you meet who you could have been. I'm chasing that guy, the emotions, the memories, the contribution. And I want me to go, man, I was watching you for, oh, what a ride. Man, I thought you blew it on that one chapter. And then you came back. And then you got knocked down again. Then you came back, you got knocked down again. You did it. You maxed out your life. To me, that's heaven. Becoming the person I'm capable of. Now, hell looks like this. Yeah, I was chasing you, and then this person hurt me, and I had that thing, and then the market. Yeah, I was watching it, you had it, and then the thing, and yeah, it's over.
The truth is, I lived my life scared. I underestimated myself, and I ran out of time. Yeah, you don't get to do it again. You live with this forever. I'm really sorry I don't recognize you.
Death isn't just of the physical body. Death is of the ego death. Or to die to yourself is not a physical death. It is a character or an ego death. You must die, your ego must die. Who you are today is no longer resourceful for who you're going to be, who you are to be next. For you to fulfill your greatest purpose here on this planet, in this lifetime, you have to have multiple deaths to immature versions of yourself so that you could be reborn as a stronger version of yourself. That's how the process goes.
It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does always actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
First step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. Very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
I mean, there are no manuals, no shortcuts, no secrets. You write your own manual, you develop your own shortcuts, you find your own secrets. You go where you're drawn to go, and you learn by doing the work. I mean, if you're scared, if it all seems like too daunting, if the machinery of it all seems too big and scary and overwhelming, it's great. You wake up in the morning and you do it anyway.
Don't get better automatically. You only get better because you intentionally make a decision to get better. You have to go from being a person of good intentions to a person of good actions. That's the great separator.
Most important key to achieving great success is to decide upon your goal and then launch. Get started, take action, do something, move. The act of taking the first step is what separates the losers from the winners, or the winners from the losers.
There are times in life when you're going through a hard time and you think you're going through a test. That's not the test. The test is how do you go through the hard time? And if it's a test that you are designed to fail, how do you handle that failure?
Your story is going to be the greatest story that's ever been told. I'm so glad that you got overweight. I'm so glad that your mindset's all over the place. I'm so glad you haven't been treating the people that you love the greatest. I'm so glad you haven't been working your ass off. I'm glad you haven't changed people's lives or make enough impact yet. I'm glad you got comfortable or complacent, because when you change, this story is going to be that great.
The understanding that winners write history, which means that no matter how difficult whatever the season that you're going through is, just win. Like, keep going until you win. And then once you win, you can rewrite whatever history you want. And that has gotten me through those harder periods, because I just knew that I needed to get through to the other side.
You really want something? You're gonna find a way, ultimately. And it might not be today or next year, or 5 years or 10 years, but this thing takes priority or precedent over all other things. When you don't want something as much as you think you do, of course, bro, just like you said, don't nobody want to live a hard life. We all want to make life easy for ourselves, for our families, for our mothers, boom, boom, that's amazing. And the thought of that is amazing. Sometimes your desire might not be enough fuel. You gotta have a strong desire, and when you have a strong desire, that outweighs all other shit.
You are going to die one day, and every single person whose opinion you're afraid of is also going to die one day. And in 300 years, it's probably not going to matter to people whether you did the thing you said you were going to do, or you let people's opinion beat you into submission. And I got news for you, whether you do it or not, people are gonna say, they're either gonna make fun of you for trying, or they're gonna say that you had so much potential and you just didn't try in life, or whatever. No matter which direction you go in, it's gonna come with some bullshit. You can put up with people's opinions and people's comments and actually do the thing you want to do, or you can put up with people's opinions and people's with comments and die with regret. What you choose to do with your life, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else, isn't that important to people. Most people are just focused on their own shit, doing their own thing, worried about their own life. So f it.
There is no guarantees. Even if you work hard, there's no guarantee it's gonna work out. I do believe hard work pays off, but no one tells you when. And that's the test. Can you maintain your patience when you don't know when the end is coming? You don't know when it's gonna pay off. You just believe in yourself, regardless of who believes in you.
Take ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes, take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved.
If it seems impossible, it's even better. You do it anyway. And as you go, like I said, remember that amidst all that machinery, you're the one who's going to make the picture. You and the spark. In the end, they're one and the same. Guard that, because it's precious. Now it's time to get to work.
Maybe this chapter of your life is meant for you to do it alone. Maybe this is the time for you to practice independency, to do the things you've always known, but kept putting off for some reason. Maybe this phase is for you to be a little bored and lonely, because it might be what you need as you're putting the pieces back together. It might not be fun, but it's necessary, because in order to evolve into the next version of yourself, you need to find out who you truly are.
Everything you do, every choice you make, move you in the direction of what you say your vision is. And when you do that, the forces of life rise up to meet you. The reason why most people have such chaotic lives is because they're living in chaos in their head. And as soon as you get clear, it clears up.
You may be your dog is out. Note it. Night don't last forever. There's a morning coming in your life. Stay down till you come up.
Stop trying to control your life. You can't do it. Think instead in terms of controlling the experience of your life. A lot of the time in your life, you have the ability to decide what you are going to experience. Mental chatter is an internal monologue that you have going on in your head all the time. It begins right up when you get up in the morning, is with you throughout the day. Mental chatter has always been a part of your life. Most of the time we try to ignore it, we suppress it, we work around it, we try to live our life as best we can in spite of our mental chatter. That is a huge mistake. And the reason it's a huge mistake is because we build our lives with our mental chatter. We create the world that we live in with our mental chatter. We all think we live in a real world, but we don't. We live in a construct. We live in the matrix.
And whether you realize it or not, each and every one of you has something that sits at the core of how you feel about yourself. And from that, your identity, your sense of self-worth, your self-esteem, it is all built around that thing. Now, when you think about my job as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as an athlete, as a speaker, as a whatever you want to be, you've got to get so good at that thing that when people see you do it, you make them experience the most potent human emotion, and that is awe. To get that good, is a terrifying journey of self-discovery and confronting who you really are. Because you cannot make change until you acknowledge where you're actually at.
The most important decision of your life is deciding whether you're truly committed to being happy no matter what. Because life is going to throw all kinds of curveballs at all of us. There's the one thing that's in common in this lifetime is extreme stress. But it's just true. Someone you're going to care about is going to die. Someone's going to take advantage financially if you're not careful. You're going to find yourself in a position the government might change the rules and you can't do what you're doing before. Someone call, like I've gotten the call saying you got a tumor in your brain. Those days alter you. So the greatest gift you could give yourself, besides making this life about love and making this life about giving, because to give you have to keep growing, is, I believe, to make that decision and say life is too short to suffer.
We are all very good at shooting second arrows at ourselves. How many times have you laid yourself low? How many times have you berated yourself for taking some damn fool action in retrospect? How many times have you compared yourself unfavorably with someone else? We don't just shoot second arrows, we shoot third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh arrows at ourselves. The important thing for you to note is the second arrow is always delivered by means of mental chatter. What you don't recognize is the stuff that you believe, which you have not subjected to the same scrutiny, is equally false. And that too will crumble. So the question to ask yourself is not, is this true or false, right or wrong, good or bad? The question to ask yourself is, does this model work for me in my life now better than what I am currently using?
You get to build yourself in any direction you want, in any way, to become anything you want. There will be an extraordinary price to pay, but you can go in any direction. Now, I don't think that we're born blank slates, but we are so close to that. To worry about where your limits are is to miss how much you can improve. So focus on how much you can improve. There's an amazing quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the author of the Gulag Archipelago. And what he said was, the line between good and evil runs through every human heart. The most important decision any human being has to make is whether they live in a friendly or a hostile universe. Decision. The most important decision anyone has to make, because neither of those two states is empirically true, but either will immediately appear true once you decide to believe it.
That the secret to life is to get outside yourself and find a way to add value to others. There's nothing that's more fulfilling than doing something beyond yourself. I think one of the things that makes me proud to be a human being is human beings will do more for others that they care about than they'll ever do for themselves. And when you tap into that, you have more energy than anybody else, you have more joy, you have more excitement, because, as I always say, life supports whatever supports life. Motive matters. The idea of being obsessed with learning, growing, and adding value, to me, is the most important thing in life, because, the only way we're happy is by making progress. We grow and we feel alive. We give and we feel 10 times more alive. But you got to grow to have something to give.
Brick by brick, day after day, I transformed myself. It was not an uncovering of something that was real and already there. It was simply acknowledging I am a hopelessly average human, but humans are the ultimate adaptation machine. So I can change. I can become whatever I want. And I just became single-mindedly focused on how much I could grow. And now that I was getting value and self-esteem out of growing instead of out of being, everything in my life changed.
Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life.
Who am I? What do I desire? What do I know?
The reason you have memory isn't to remember the past. The reason you have memory is to not do the same stupid things again in the future. That's fundamentally the reason. And so you remember some things and you don't remember other things. And your memory has a shape, and these stories fit into that shape. And so at minimum, the stories have evolved to adapt to your memory. Now, I would say since your memory has evolved to adapt to the world, that implies that the stories have evolved to adapt to the world.
Ultimately, what we're trying to do is get to a place of stillness and clarity and focus so we can be 100% locked in whatever we're doing. That's what this is all about. And sometimes you're flashing forward, sometimes you're looking to history for perspective, sometimes you're empty in your mind entirely. Every situation's got different handles, and you grab onto the right one at the right time.
What you believe will dictate your thoughts on a moment-by-moment basis. So if you believe that, money is hard to make, as a simple example, you're not going to have ideas or thoughts around money that would be lending to making it easily, right? So what you believe dictates what you think, and they're always aligned, right? Your beliefs dictate your thoughts, dictate your emotions, dictate your actions, which produce your results. And your results, when you look at them, then just reinforce the original belief. And so we're caught in that construct, right? But the linchpin is the belief system. So the question is, how do I actually change what I believe? If my beliefs really do dictate my destiny, right? Which is, I'm not the only person suggesting that. The question becomes, how do I change my beliefs? And in that is an inherent challenge, because by definition, beliefs are that which are true.
What does being a victim get you? Nothing, absolutely nothing. So if you're getting nothing from one direction, why not turn around and go to the other direction? I mean, to me, it's really common sense, but you have to break down that, and you have to give people this understanding that it's okay to have had something happen to you. Like, you're not a bad person because of that. And it sounds crazy unless somebody's watching this who's gone through something. You know the guilt you feel and the things that you carry that you haven't told anyone because you're ashamed or all these things. That's okay. But continuing to allow it to affect you, that's on you. That's not on the abuser, that's not on the situation, that's on you. It's a choice you have to make of, I am no longer gonna let this happen.
The world that we exist in is really a world that is happening cognitively in our minds based on beliefs, rituals, culture, social indoctrination, and what our mom and our dad and our media and our priest and our teachers and our preachers tell us to be, do, and think. That's the culturescape. But we don't see that, because like a fish swimming in water, we don't realize that the rules in which we live life are not necessarily true for everyone else. They're only true for us because of our conditioning. Now, the problem with this culturescape is that many people believe it's real, and thus they become a victim of the culturescape. The things that happen to them, a breakup, a business failure, being hospitalized, severely influence them. The world happens to them.
See, great stories are representations of patterns of adaptive behavior. The fact that a great story is true at multiple levels of analysis simultaneously. And truly great stories can be interpreted at multiple levels of analysis simultaneously. That's actually what gives them depth. So when you say a story is deep, well, here's a meaning. Oh, look, here's another. Oh, look, here's another one. And then the meanings often exist in parallel with one another. And great stories, and the really archetypal stories are like that. The story of Moses, for example, that's an archetypal story. The idea that people escape from tyranny, go through a crisis, spend time wandering in the desert, are moving towards a better place. It's like that's the story of life.
How we look at the world is, the world is objective, but how we look at it determines what we're going to be able to do to it. Epictetus says, it's not things that upset us, it's our opinions about things, right? And so realizing like, oh, okay, the world is objective. My opinion is what determines everything. And by opinion, he means judgments, right? The other, he says, it's not things that upset us, it's our judgment about things. So it's really maybe judgment's a better word than perspective.
I would either be in a powerful state of being, states like joy, curiosity, excitement, calm, peace, passion, or I would be in a primal state of being, boredom, anger, frustration, some form of fear. I'm always in one of those two states, and I'm never in two states at one time. But those map beautifully to the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, right? So at any moment, we're either in fight or flight or we're in rest and relaxation. through my journey, what I realized was the only cause of that switch to be flipped was my own thinking. The meaning that I was giving the experience. The experience itself wasn't dictating whether I was in a primal state or a powerful state, whether I was in sympathetic fight or flight or parasympathetic rest and restoration or relaxation. It was the meaning I was giving the experience. And so that meant that all of my personal suffering was within my own control. I needed to start controlling the meaning I was giving the experiences of life.
Life can happen to you, or life can happen from you. And at this world, at this level, life is emerging from you. You are creating the world as you want to see it. You don't like the university system, you create Mind Valley U. You don't like the way mobile phones work, you create the iPhone. Now, it doesn't have to be something as big as that. It could be the way you hack your education. It could be the way you start your business. It could be the way you told your parents that you were not going to blindly follow their fundamentalist religious ideas, even though they had been part of your family for 300 years. You create your own rules. And this is when this great awakening starts happening.
And I'm gonna use this for everybody. Everybody's so crippled by decisions, but you never know how the other thing worked out. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't go to college and you start this business and you were 100% right and it's huge and you're doing so great. What I'm saying is you're not gonna know. So choose, live, and then if it works out, great, and if it doesn't, adjust.
The simplicity of just knowing that you're not alone is really not simple. It's massive, because in those dark moments, you are alone. For the most part, you are physically alone, and so then it's not that hard to take it from a physical to a mental state of, I'm the only one being molested. I'm the only one being beaten. I'm the only one with alcoholic parents. I'm the only one with a mom and dad who hate each other. I'm the only one that lives in a really wealthy community, but everyone's lying to each other. Like, it's really simple for that to happen, but the reality is you're not. And when you're not alone, you have community. What does community give you? Safety, right? It all comes back to like being safe. And if I feel safe, then I have power. And then I can do something and control and all these different elements.
The world as you see it is an artifact of a previously held point of view. Your eyes are always looking at the past. Everything we see in this room, as we get out of this room, as we go home, as we survive in the world, as we go to our jobs, it's looking at artifacts of the past. And at this level, the level of awakening, you come to see that. And so you're constantly thinking about how can you create a new world that suits how you want to live life. And so you know that thing about how thoughts create reality? At this point, it's true. And it's not the mumbo-jumbo version of your mind creating reality. Not that that's not real. Here your thoughts are actually creating reality because you are questioning the cognitive plane. You are questioning the rules and the assumptions and the cultures and the beliefs that we hold on to so tightly, thinking they are real. Many of these have hit their expiration date, but people still leave it in their fridge like sour milk. Now what you're doing is opening the refrigerator door, looking at what rules, what beliefs have hit that expiration date and discarding it. And then creating your own stuff to put in that refrigerator.
Believe that life is working in infinitely intelligent ways for our greatest growth, our greatest prosperity, our greatest evolution, that at any moment it's a moment of perfection, right? That it is supposed to happen. And so in that we can live with acceptance, we can live with surrender. We may not actually see it in the moment how it's working for us. But we can choose to trust that it is if we want to.
Of understanding that you're in control. You control your destiny. You can create what you want to create. You have gifts that nobody else on the planet has. You have talent. You have everything. Everything you need to become whatever you want is right here. And I don't care what the limitations are. Physical, mental, spiritual, I don't care. Everything is there for you.
Go forth. Be a visionary. Don't take no for an answer. Question the rules and live life on your terms as you make a dent in the culturescape and create new things that truly give you joy, that you're truly excited about, that make the world better for all of us in unity.